Ape Escape is serious monkey business. Your task is to control Spike, a pointy-haired character armed with a large net. Spike has to travel through time chasing cheeky monkeys who have escaped and are intent on taking over the world. Leader of these naughty chimps is King Monkey himself, the evil Spectre. He must be stopped at all cost, or the party-loving primates will destroy history as we know it.
Spike! A new gadget is completed.
This is a water net that shoots a net underwater.
The many gadgets make Ape Escape entertaining enough, although the game does have its faults. A puzzling control system makes the game more difficult than it needs to be, but after practice, it soon becomes an enjoyable romp. You can utilize 8 different gadgets to capture the apes over 17 massive levels. The many obstacles in Ape Escape make your mission even more difficult, from swinging across a bridge to riding a brontosaurus. There are also gadgets that should make your task easier, including a very clever monkey detector. Ape Escape is an original concept, which will see you returning to your PlayStation again and again in an effort to catch just one more of those naughty chimps. Brilliant animation and fast action make this game worth playing.
I don't believe we have been introduced. R2-D2, a pleasure to meet you. I am C-3PO Human-Cyborg Relations.
If you live on another planet like C-3PO, you may not have heard that a new Star Wars film has been released. And you know what that means. Yes, it's time for another Star Wars title for your PC. Star Wars Episode 1 Insider's Guide is the latest in a never-ending line of merchandise released to coincide with the new Star Wars film Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. You may already be tired of hearing about Star Wars, but pay attention, because this is a quality multimedia title that offers many features you won't find anywhere else. It contains interviews with the director George Lucas and numerous other members of the production team, together with the entire film scripts and stills from every scene. Footage from behind the scenes explains how various effects were achieved. You can even look around Jim Henson's Creature Workshop. This is where many of the characters were created, including the old favourite Yoda. Star Wars fans will be very excited when they read of plans for 2 more movies, which will arrive in the next few years. You can read plot outlines, find out which actors and actresses will star, and see the estimated times of release. One action film would be complete without spectacular stunts. You can watch the stuntmen as they prepare their carefully choreographed lightsaber battles.
A communications disruption can mean only one thing: invasion.
For Star Wars fans, this multimedia package is invaluable. It contains a sizable chunk of the movie, and the behind-the-scenes footage and photos are fantastic. Ever wanted to try some extreme sports without the fear of permanent injury? Well, now's your chance. We've got a great cheat for Rushdown that'll give you all the action you could possibly want. To gain access to every country and track in the game, simply enter this code at the main menu. Up, up, down, down, left, right, triangle, circle, triangle, and circle. Now you'll be able to test your skills on all the snowboarding, canoeing, and mountain bike courses around the world. Make sure you conserve a bit of energy, though. 1 lapse of concentration, and you could end up as the world's first frozen UFO.
No!
Ever since Space Invaders arrived on our screens, people have always enjoyed a good arcade game. It seems that saving the universe and destroying lots of alien ships tends to guarantee hours of fun. Well, the good news for all of you intergalactic heroes is that Space Debris is nearly finished, and here's a sneak preview to show you what's in store. R-Type managed to gain a whole army of fans with its 2D perspective and compelling gameplay. So far, Space Debris looks remarkably similar, except for the 3D playing angle. Therefore, you can expect lots of obstacles to avoid and hordes of enemies to blast. Although Space Debris is action-packed, we'll have to wait and see whether the gameplay will be as exciting as it looks. Time for a review of a more serious flying game now, with F22 Lightning 3. Lightning 3 is the latest flight simulation based on the world's most advanced fighter plane. In this game, you'll have over 50 new missions to fly. These include tasks such as capturing a Renegade 747 jet. The best thing about this game is its simplicity. You can turn off a lot of the flying options and get straight into the action. However, if you want the challenge of maneuvering an F-22 around the skies, then you can enjoy the full simulation as well. Disappointingly, because modern aerial combat tends to happen at great distances, you won't feel the adrenaline of a close dogfight. But F22 Lightning 3 is an engaging game which should appeal to those wanting a thorough simulation or just a fun flight through the clouds.
Good job taking out those MiGs.
If you love sports games, then you must have heard of Electronic Arts. EA have specialized in bringing fans computer versions of the world's most popular sports. The company tries to make each game as realistic as possible, and to do that, they have to hire some rather expensive talent behind the scenes.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun. It was very interesting, the technology behind it and the things that you have to do to try to simulate the real action of the game. I think that's the thing that's the most important to the people that play, not only just the players in the NFL, but the fans and the kids that love to play the game. You know, the simulation that is very realistic.
Electronic Arts aim to bring out new versions of all their sporting licenses for the year 2000. But how can they improve the existing games enough to justify new versions? Well, using the latest technology is a major factor in creating realism in video games. And although motion capture is hardly a new phenomenon, it's something the game developers must take very seriously.
At Electronic Arts, we are doing far more motion capture than anybody else in the world. And we're pushing the envelope far harder than anybody else can, especially in sports. Film studios are doing a lot of work with it. They're not doing the amount of takes we do. They'll do 4 or 5 scenes in a film. We're doing 400, 500, 1,000 in some cases for a game.
Along with several new racing games, you can expect updates in the Triple Play Baseball and John Madden American Football Series. Having licenses and sports stars' participation tends to succeed in making the games not only special to the fans, but also the players.
To be immortalized in a video game is you know, is awesome, but then to be the one who basically is doing the moves, the foundation of the moves for everybody, it's definitely an honor.
Several games will be switching consoles, such as Knockout Kings and Tiger Woods Golf, which are both due to appear on the N64. With the much-hyped arrival of both the Dreamcast and the next-generation PlayStation to look forward to, it appears that we can expect our favourite sports titles to get even better.
It's way back.
OK, time for our competition now, so grab a pen. This week's prize is a PlayStation, together with a copy of Bloody Roar 2 to play on it. Prepare to hone your animal instincts and fight like a beast in this zoological beat-em-up. To win this prize, just call our number and give your answer to this question. Who is the baddie in the new Star Wars movie? Is it A, Zoe Ball, B, Darth Maul, or C, RuPaul? If you think you know, call 0660 113333. Please dial carefully and don't forget to ask permission from the person who pays a telephone bill first. We'll put up the question and number again at the end of today's show, so get dialing and good luck. Coming up, we visit Silent Hill, download some incredible free games, and find out the all-time favourites of gaming guru David Perry. So who do you think's tougher? An alien with its acid blood and uncontrollable teeth? The Marine, a human with a big gun? Or the Predator with its huge array of fantastic futuristic weaponry? Well, get ready to find out, because Aliens vs. Predator has finally arrived on the PC, and it's a game that will lead to many sleepless nights. Yes, you can choose to play as any of these age-old adversaries, and as each of them has its own storyline and scenarios, you get what amounts to 3 games in one. But are they any good? Well, we've played the game with all 3 characters, and this is what we found. First, and by far the most fun, was the Alien. The high-speed monster moves amazingly fast, allowing you to defeat opponents before they even see you. As you're exposed to almost any attack, don't expect to just run blindly at anyone. Instead, you must use your abilities to cling to walls and surprise your enemies, usually by dropping from great height onto their heads. Unfortunately, the alien becomes simply too vulnerable later in the game, so you may want to try someone with a bit more firepower. The Marine is one such individual, but although he comes supplied with some heavy weaponry and great gadgets, be prepared to be scared. The noise of the motion tracker, which shows you where your enemies are, soon becomes more terrifying than useful, especially when you're surprised by an uncontrollable alien. If, however, you want to be more scary than scared, try the Predator. Probably the coolest character. Not only can you use all of its futuristic weaponry, but as in the films, you can bend light and become invisible. Very handy. Whoever you choose to control, Aliens vs. Predator is an incredibly difficult game, but it's still great fun. I just wish I could find someone to cure my toothache. Now, there should be a dentist hiding here. Excuse me, could you take a look at these? If you want free games, the internet's got them. We thought we'd show you a couple of new games that are well worth downloading. The first is a test version of Quake 3 Arena. This is not a demo, as the game is still far from finished. Instead, it's a couple of levels which have been released to the public in order to test complicated technical code that controls networking and compatibility. Of course, it's unfair to judge the final game on such early code, but from this evidence, it's safe to say that Quake 3 Arena will be absolutely amazing. The game is fast and smooth, the weapons are fun, and the curved walls look great. There are a lot of nice touches too, like the blue speech bubbles that appear over people's heads when they're typing, so you know that it's unfair to attack them. Overall, beta testing has never been so much fun. Another great free download is USS Dark Star, a whole new single-player adventure for anyone who owns a copy of Half-Life. The Dark Star is a biological research center where all sorts of nasty alien species are kept safe behind electrical force field barriers. Let's hope nothing goes wrong.
Gordon, I'm very concerned about these electrical force field barriers. What will happen if we have a power outage?
Needless to say, a few of those naughty alien chickens escape and start to chew on a power cable or two. And the next thing you know, things explode, the ship is overrun by monsters, and you find yourself in an adventure every bit as exciting as the original Half-Life game. But at least we're not the only one being pestered by those roast-chicking aliens. Everyone's got their favourite games, but what do the people who make them love to play? This man is responsible for some of the most popular titles ever released. He's given us games like Cool Spot, Stunt Copter, Wild 9 and Messiah. So he obviously knows his business, but who is he? And what games gets him excited?
Hi there, I'm David Perry from Shiny, and I've made games like Aladdin and Earthworm Jim. And I'm going to be giving you my top 5 games of all time. Number 5 is a game that I've actually just bought not so long ago. It's a game called Independence War. And you have the ability to actually connect things to your spacecraft, for example, and then launch them as you fly, so you can pick up a box, fly through space, and then smash it into something. The missions get more and more progressive as the game gets on, and they keep adding great new little touches and things like go find another piece of a spacecraft and attach it to yours. But so you're flying through this field of junk, and somewhere in there's some old spacecraft that looks pretty good, so you grab it and attach it to yours. It's very, very different. Number 4, I've got to give to Wave Race. And the reason I like it so much is because when I have people over to my house, they can just play that game right away. It doesn't require lots of instructions. I don't have to tell you the background story. You just pick up the joypad, see if you can beat me. There's nothing more fun than actually beating the other guy while you're doing a handstand, for example. So that's a great game. That's definitely number 4. Number 3 is actually a Japanese game on the Sony PlayStation, Gran Turismo. There's so much detail in it. There's so many different cars, and they're getting you to brake correctly, and they're getting you to change gears correctly. Plus, the cars look amazing. There's all this light dances across the cars. I wish my car was as clean as half of the cars in Gran Turismo. My number 2 all-time favorite was actually a PC game called Command & Conquer. And the reason I liked it so much was that it was a game that you could play the way you chose to play it. Some people got these incredible strategies and plans, and they thought they were being very clever. Whereas my strategy was always just to try and get as many people as you can. So you'd have this sea of people. In fact, if you could see on the map when I was coming, there was this sea of people would come coming across, and then I'd have a huge war. And so the fact that you could just play the game your own way was just so fun, and I poured so much time into it. And my all-time number 1 game is, again, it's an action-style game, but you can play it kind of the way you like. If you want to be stealthy, that's cool. But there's also a nice story progression in there. It is an amazing piece of work. It's a game called Metal Gear Solid, and it's something that I urge you, if you haven't played it, you've got to check that one out.
From some of David's favourite games to one of ours. Grab a pen because we've got a couple of very cool cheats for that superb ice hockey sim, NHL 99. First of all, pause the game and enter the following code, M, A, M, B, and O. Now you can play Spot the Cheating Player. Well, can you guess who it is? Okay, it's not that difficult, but then these hockey players aren't the most cunning sportsmen in the world. But if you guess right, why not celebrate in style? Again, pause the game and enter Victory. That's V-I-C-T-O-R and Y. Fireworks for me. How lovely. Time for something a little scary now with Silent Hill on the PlayStation. You play Harry Mason, and your quest is to find your 7-year-old daughter, Cheryl, in the mysterious town of Silent Hill. Unfortunately, you find the town abandoned, apart from some terrible monsters and a few very strange citizens. This game is from the makers of Resident Evil, and it boasts the same mixture of exploration, puzzle solving, and combat with terrible monsters. However, there have been a number of improvements in gameplay since Resident Evil. The tedious loading times have gone, the story is less gory and more atmospheric, and the whole game is now in 3D. These 3D graphics are put to good use for some very cinematic camera movements, and together with the misty locations and torch-lit interiors, they create the creepiest atmosphere ever experienced on the PlayStation. There are occasions where the puzzles seem unrelated to the story, and the dramatic camera movements can mean that you have to battle monsters that are hidden off-screen. But despite these faults, the game is totally compelling and very absorbing. A trip to Silent Hill is an unforgettable experience. Adventures are everywhere at the moment. Dungeon Keeper 2 is different because it gives you the chance to play the bad guy for once. And in this world, only the wicked will win. Your goal is to build and maintain a dungeon and protect its heart from the heroes who try to destroy it. As the Keeper, you carve out your dungeon any way you want and mine gold to fund your constructions. Tiny imps build everything from training rooms to forges, and you'll have to keep them well paid and fed if you want to survive. Your minions include goblin guards, who deactivate traps, troll builders, who work in the foundry, constructing barricades and defences, and not forgetting the all-new mistresses, who take care of any captured heroes. By dropping characters in the room you've built, they'll perform different tasks. Here, the magician is researching spells, while the elven warriors are doing a good job guarding your treasure. If you want to get closer to the action, use the possession spell to control any creature personally. You'll need to do this to force some creatures past traps and hazards that they'd normally run away from. The battles are awesome, with scores of magical creatures swarming to the fight. If you manage to slay the Good Knight, he leaves behind a portal gem that summons a dungeon guardian, Horny. He'll scoop it up and you can move on to the next stage. Dungeon Keeper 2 is one of the most sumptuous games ever. Glorious characters and faultless attention to detail will capture every dungeon designer's imagination for months. Well, we must leave Horny and the Mistress there, as it's time to say goodbye. Don't forget, you can always try our competition to win a console. Until next time, here's some more of the adventures of Cutter Slade. Don't be an outcast, make sure you watch Cybernet.